Planning your first trip to Magic Kingdom? Before you step foot in the park, there are a few mistakes that can easily cost you hours of your day. Today, we're going to cover 5 common mistakes first-time visitors make at Magic Kingdom and how you can avoid them. Hi Disney friends, it's Joni from Mom and Me and Disney. On this channel, we share Disney tips, strategies, and real park experiences to help you make the most of your Disney World vacation. If that sounds helpful, make sure you hit that subscribe button so you don't miss out on our future Disney World videos. Now let's jump into 5 mistakes first-timers make at Magic Kingdom. A lot of first-time visitors think arriving at park opening is early enough, but by that time, thousands of people are already inside the park. If you really want to maximize your day, try to arrive at least 30 to 45 minutes before the official opening time. That head start can make a big difference and lets you head straight to popular rides like Seven Dwarfs Mine Train or Peter Pan's Flight before the wait times start climbing. If you're staying at a Disney resort, transportation usually begins about an hour before early entry. That includes the buses, the monorail, and the Disney Skyliners. Take advantage of this and try to catch one of the first rides out of your resort so that you can be among the first guests arriving at Magic Kingdom. If you are driving, remember that you won't park directly at Magic Kingdom. Instead, you'll park at the Transportation and Ticket Center, and then take either the monorail or the ferry boat over to the park entrance. That extra step can add 20 to 30 minutes to your arrival time, so it's important to plan for it if you want to be there early. Lightning lanes can save you a lot of time at Magic Kingdom, but only if you use it strategically. One mistake many first-time visitors make is either skipping Lightning Lane completely or selecting rides randomly without a plan. The most popular attractions can easily build wait times of an hour or more, so focusing your Lightning Lane choices on those headliners can make a huge difference in how much you get done in a single day. Disney currently offers 3 different Lightning Lane options. The first is Lightning Lane Multi-Pass. This lets you book return times for many attractions throughout the day. At Magic Kingdom, we recommend using these selections for rides that regularly get long waits, like Jungle Cruise, Haunted Mansion, Tiana's Bayou Adventure, and Peter Pan's Flight. The second option for Lightning Lanes is called Lightning Lane Single Pass. This is used for the park's most in-demand attractions that aren't included with Multi-Pass. At Magic Kingdom, this currently includes Tron Light Cycle Run and Seven Dwarfs Mine Train. Now, these are a pass that you purchase for a single amount per person per ride, and these rides are not included with the Multi-Pass option. These rides do consistently, however, have some of the longest wait times in the park, so buying a single pass can save you a lot of time if they're on your must-do list. The final option is the Lightning Lane Premier Pass. This option is significantly more expensive, but it does allow you to ride all of the attractions with a Lightning Lane and have access to them without needing to book specific return times like you need to do for Multi-Pass. For some families, especially those visiting only once or trying to do a lot in one day, the convenience of having the Premier Pass can be worth it to those situations and can be worth that cost. For first-time visitors, our biggest piece of advice is to plan your Lightning Lane selections around your highest priority rides. Book the most popular attractions first, then fill in the rest of your day with standby lines, shows, and lower wait rides. With a little strategy, Lightning Lanes can easily save you hours of waiting in line. Magic Kingdom is packed with attractions, shows, snacks, and entertainment. First-time visitors often try to fit it all into one day, but that can quickly turn your trip into a stressful rush. Instead, focus on your must-do attractions and leave room to explore the park. Sometimes the best Disney moments happen when you slow down and enjoy the atmosphere. One way to do this is to let everyone in your party pick 3 must-do activities, and then anything else you get done is just a bonus. Also, keep in mind, you should strategically plan on when you are going to eat. Lines at quick service, which is Disney's version of a fast food restaurant, can get really long during peak meal times. Instead, eat at off times and use mobile ordering whenever you can. These planned meals can also serve as a time to cool down and rehydrate. The busiest part of the day at Magic Kingdom is usually between noon and about 4 p.m. Wait times climb and the park gets really crowded. This is a great time to take a break, grab a snack, or hop on a relaxing ride like the Tomorrowland Transit Authority People Mover. Taking a slower pace during the busiest hours can help you recharge for the evening. If you have littles, this is also the perfect time to head out of the park and go back to your resort for a nap to enjoy some pool time. Or additionally, you could hop on the monorail to check out some of the nearby resorts and get away from some of the overstimulation that is likely happening at Magic Kingdom. Families who take breaks and are strategic about the crowds often enjoy their trips more and keep themselves from melting down. One of the biggest mistakes first-time visitors make is leaving Magic Kingdom too early. When the sun goes down, the entire park transforms. The lights come on throughout the lands, the crowds start shifting toward nighttime entertainment, and seeing Cinderella's castle glowing against the night sky is one of the most magical moments of the day. The nighttime fireworks show, called Happily Ever After, is a must-see experience. This show combines fireworks, music, lasers, and incredible projections across Cinderella Castle and even down Main Street. Disney storytelling really shines here as scenes from beloved movies appear across the castle while fireworks burst overhead. If you can, try to find a spot that you're going to view the fireworks from at least 30 to 45 minutes before the show, especially if you want a good view of the projections. Magic Kingdom also features a nighttime parade called Disney Starlight Dream the Night Away, which brings glowing floats, characters, and music through the park after dark. The illuminated floats and colorful lights make it feel completely different from the daytime entertainment. For many guests, this parade becomes one of the most memorable moments of their trip. Another bonus to staying late is that wait times for rides often drop during fireworks and in the final hour before the park closes. Many guests leave after the show, which means you may be able to ride some popular attractions with shorter waits. If you still have the energy, those last couple of hours in the park can end up being some of the most productive and magical of the entire day. Alright, Disney friends, those are 5 common mistakes first-time visitors make at Magic Kingdom. But the good news is they're all easy to avoid with a little planning. If you've been to Magic Kingdom before, let us know in the comments what mistakes you've made. And if you found this helpful, don't forget to give this video a like. Thanks, and we'll see you in the parks.